Hey, happy Wednesday, people. It is Ross Cessna of Daily Tarot Card Readings by Ross Cessna, the Oracle at Motion, coming at you live from Spiritual Phoenix Studios in Girard, Ohio. And it is a cold day today here. It was 19 degrees the last time that I checked. So real quick, this reading is for our Sagittarius suns with the Gemini moon, but it is also for any fire and air sign. And I'm even going to do a little mini reading for the collective as well. And there's a card at the end for everybody. So everybody wins. You get a card and you get a card. Everybody gets a card. If this is your first time checking out my channel, if you're on YouTube, I suggest that you subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment, ask for some other cards or something like that. If you're on Facebook, like the page, like the video, and comment. So thank you so much. With all of that stuff out of the way, let us get into the first card. So we're going to do love, mental health, and wealth. So this is in general for my, oh man, my mind just went blank. Sagittarius suns and Gemini moons. Sorry about that. And it is Nine of Cups in reverse. So traditionally, Nine of Cups really is about comfort and satisfaction. This is saying that emotionally right now in your relationship, things might be a little bit unpleasant. The good thing about nines is they're relative to the Hermit, so it's about self-reflection and taking a little bit of time off from things, a little bit of a seclusion and introspection, and you might be able to see how you are creating some of your own difficulties in that whole situation. I know accountability sucks, but it really helps in regards to romantic relationships. Now, we're going to do the love card for my people in general, and ironically, the Hermit card came up. So you just have the bigger aspect of the Nine of Cups in general right now, general people. You just need to work on yourself a little bit, pull back from the relationship aspect, quit trying so hard, and look back on where things have been. You might be feeling a little bit lonely and isolated rather than taking time off and for introspection, but in the long run, it will pay off. My whole concept of reversals isn't that they're permanent or fixed states. They just require a little bit of work on your part to turn it around and get the other benefit of it. So this is something else that I should throw out in case you're new to my tarot reading style. I don't view this as fortune telling so much as a way to get a better look at yourself and have some awareness of some of the things that would make your life difficult. Now we're going to move on to the mental health for my Sag suns and Gemini moons, or my fire and air signs in general. And we have the Page of Bows, or Page of Wands in traditional tarot, and it is about enthusiastic discovery. So there's something that you're not really looking forward to, and because this card has, I'm going to turn it right side up, because there's all of the water on that card, you're not too curious or not too enthusiastic about letting your emotions flow freely. It's actually relative to all of this. There's been some aspects in your relationships that you've been holding back on. And because you've been holding back on it, it's creating a lot of tension where you don't want to have to look at it, because there's probably some unhealed stuff in there that needs to come up and surface in order for you to move forward. And it can be a little bit unpleasant, but now is really the time to make the effort, make it happen, and move forward with it. Let those emotions flow. And if you do, things will be better off for you in the long run. Now we're going to move on to mental health for the general collective. You have Eight of Arrows, general collective, or that is Eight of Swords in traditional tarot. Now, ironically, it is about isolation and imprisonment yet again. So it's this whole further on aspect of this, of the Hermit card. But the funny thing about swords is it's all mental. It's not really a reality. So you might be perceiving yourself as disconnected, as isolated, as imprisoned, but it's really this sense of self-creation. And ironically, it also ties into this emotional freeze here. Much like this was a waterfall that was blocked up because it was in reverse. Your emotions are kind of frozen because you're afraid that if you actually have to look at them, things would be difficult. And I get it, it's the holidays. A lot of us have some unpleasant emotions around the holidays. Although it's generally a time of connection and satisfaction, it can be really, really rough for some of us. So if that's you, just give yourself some time to rest, drink a little bit of extra water, take it easy, get out of the hustle and the grind of the holidays, and focus on Christmas presents, like showing up and being happy and healthy, or holiday presents rather, because I'm not affiliated with any religious belief structure and I don't want to push that shit on you. But just show up in a kind way for yourself. The other thing about eights is they're relative to change. So there's this whole aspect of kind of resisting the change and not wanting the change to happen. Change is going to show up no matter what. Let it show up. Move forward. Things will be fine for you. And then we're going to go to wealth for my Sag suns and Gemini moons. And you have another reversal. There's a lot of reversals coming up in this. And it is 9 of bows or 9 of wands. And the card itself in this deck is called Respect. But 9 of wands is really about resilience and persistence. Because this is about health and wealth rather. There's this whole sense of not respecting money and not really persisting in saving or persisting and using it wisely. So it's creating some chaos in you. And ironically enough, it's the holidays. And one of the ways that we like to make up for maybe not being, like I mentioned in the previous card for the general, present in people's lives is sometimes spending more money than we can financially afford. So right now, this is about respecting what your actual budget is and not being embarrassed or not feeling bad if you can't go all out like you'd like to. There's no sense in going into debt. Sometimes you can do little things and just show up and be present in people's lives. And that can make a big difference in the overall feeling of everything. So I would say respect what your budget is, dial it in, everything will be okay. And then for the general population in regards to money, you have Knight of Bows or Knight of Wands. This is about energy, passion, lust, and adventure. So there's this sense of having some money come to you, but it has to be charged with enthusiasm and excitement, and it has to be used wisely. And it will open up a whole lot of new avenues for you. There's this sense of coming out of the thick of it, quote unquote, if you look at the card. And I would say that this is you coming out of the thick of it after you have the introspection, after you deal with your thoughts, and then boom, you're out of the thick of it and you realize what abundance and wealth you actually have. Because here's the thing. We always associate wealth with specifically money, or I shouldn't say we always, oftentimes we do, but in reality, wealth really is having your needs met and having a little bit extra, or sometimes just having your needs met and feeling comfortable within your own skin and having a good family around you. There's so many more different angles to wealth than what we ever actually conceive. So general population is having a good experience. This was kind of an intense reading today for my Sag suns and Gemini moons and fire and air signs in general. I mean, for everybody, it was kind of heavy. That's my thing, though. I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything. I'm trying to tell you what the cards say to me based upon the things that I've drawn. Now, the moment we've all been waiting for, the card of the day for everybody, and this is from the Mystic Art Medicine deck, and it's Sacred Union. Sacred Union, as I mentioned in other videos, is kind of this alchemical wedding where you're unifying the masculine and feminine energy, and it's not relative to gender, it's just an identification tool. And there's the passive element and then the active element, and it's combining both of those where it creates this dynamic force. And this is the interweaving of both of those things to create this one unified whole. And if you look at the unified whole of everything, it rises up to this light point. The other thing about this too is the blue. So it's about communicating this sacred union, communicating in a way that brings community and connectedness and togetherness. And that's honestly one of the things that I try to do with the way that I read. rather than sugarcoating things and fortune telling stuff, I like to tell people information that can help them unify their thought process and get a better life experience overall. And I really feel that I convey that very well. There's also shades of purple in there. The shades of purple are relative to the third eye. Third eye is all about psychic vision or this intuitive sight, and it's learning to use your intuition in ways in which you can help create this unification with the divine. And that's ultimately what we're shooting for. In the Lovers card there too, it's not in this spread right now, but the Lovers card also actually has that same concept. So on one hand, it's about two individuals coming together and creating the spiritual union. On the other hand, it's about these aspects of our character coming together and creating this sum that's greater than the two parts that made it. So with that, I'm out of here, people. I'd really appreciate it if you could, again, subscribe to this video. If you are on YouTube, bottom right corner, click the little mushroom with the Ohm symbol on it. It will bring up the subscribe button. Boom, you're subscribed. Like the video, leave a comment or two, ask me some questions. Let's get this show rolling. It's going to be a good time. I will be on later today around 3 o'clock-ish. I think 3 o'clock is going to be my pretty standard live time. And if you want, get a card, like the video, comment. If you're on Facebook, like, share, comment. So with that, I'm out of here, people. Peace.